Hey guys, and welcome back to the BS Society. So, it's probably been a couple months since I played Epic 7, but I'm still going to talk about it. Um, the combat is basically kind of a side scroller. It's a JRPG style game, so you basically take turns fighting. Um, it kind of has a different style turn system than like Pokemon does, where basically you'll see like a bar on the side with the character pictures basically scrolling down. Once they hit the bottom, it's that character's turn. You usually have like three skills or whatever. One of them might be passive, but usually one of them is an ultimate that has to wait a few turns. Another one might be like a lesser turn that has to wait a few turns, and then you have like your main skill, right? Some skills are AoE, some are single target, and you can usually pick the target you want to fight. And that's basically the gist of the combat, right? Most stages will usually have multiple mobs. But yeah, it's a pretty simple battle system. Um, Now after you get done with like your first little mission or whatever, you run across this gotcha system, right? Now this system, like the starter pull or whatever, you can do 30 pulls. Now, or should we say 30 10 pulls. Now, this system is actually more of like a reroll. If you ever heard of what a reroll is in gotcha games, it's basically you start off the game, you play it a little bit, you don't get what you want, you restart. You play it a little bit, you don't get what you want, you restart. A lot of gotcha game players will do this at the beginning if they know what they're doing. And the reason why players do this is so that way they can get the best units possible right off the rip. So, say like for a Hunky, right? I believe the new starter banner allows you to get Hesher of Thunder. Players should basically just be playing for those first 60 days. If you don't get Hesher of Thunder, quit the game, delete your account, make a new one, restart. Just so that way you start off with Hesher of Thunder, probably one of the strongest units in the game, right off the rip, right? Say when the next update for Genshin comes out, okay? You take your first few little primo gems at the beginning of the game, you get Ride and Ball, right? Okay, so what if you don't get her? Restart the game. Now, I think Mihoyo is a little anti reroll. Where they set up a system to where you can't do rerolls. P.S. That's definitely anti free to play. Okay, Arknights you can easily do rerolls. Um, Azur Lane, I think you can easily do rerolls. Not like you really need to in Azur Lane. Girls Frontline, you don't really need to do rerolls either, but you can do them there as well. In Epic 7, guess what? You can easily do rerolls. They actually have a system for rerolling. Now, the way the system works is basically you do 30 10 pulls. Now, every 10 pull, if you don't want that 10 pull anymore, you can go to the next 10 pull. But you cannot go back to the previous 10 pulls, right? So if you think the pull is great, you might want to keep it. Now, a lot of players will have a guide for this to basically recommend the best players to get, or to recommend the best characters that you can get out of the system. So maybe like a good, like a really really strong 5-star unit like Arbiter. Um, I don't know if you can get like awakened forms of these units, but Arbiter has a really really strong ability where when you kill an enemy unit, he can attack again. So some players might recommend you to get him. Basically, they recommend you to try to get at least a good unit. For me, when I played on my free-to-play account, I basically just went for like the first decent full team I could get, all female, pretty much. Because again, I play gacha games for waifus, and I went with it. Now, this team was basically like 2 3-stars and 2 4-stars. So not the best team for PvP, because again, Epic 7 is another PvP gacha. But for the main game, you could get pretty far. I mean, I think they probably could have let me clear all the way through episode 1. Or, like the first full map, right? Um, and they definitely let me clear events. which was quite nice. Now, let me get into the PvP real quick. Again, the same issue that I said in Azure Lane. When older players stop playing, you kind of start running into them at the beginning of the game, which is a little annoying. Now, the way their PvP works is you fight an enemy. If you beat them, you get basically 5, I forget what it's called, but I'm just going to call them like medals or whatever. You get like 5 medals. If you lose, you get 2, right? Now, when you fight the enemy and you win, you'll see like a check mark instead of a fight icon. When you lose, you'll see the fight button again. I would suggest fighting every enemy 1 time. That's it. If you lose, you lose. But fight them 1 time. Because if you fight them too much, you stop getting those medals. And I'll get into why you want those medals later on when I start talking about Mulligores. Okay? And then after you fight the 5th one, you can refresh. Now, I believe a free refresh goes off like every 7 to 8 minutes. If you win against all 5 enemies, it automatically refreshes the page because you can't fight anymore. So you just refresh. Now, if you refresh too early, you do have to spend some of your gold, which I would highly advise against because that's just a waste. So, just wait for your refresh. Now, if you beat all 5 enemies, you also get a free PvP round. So you can hold up to 5 at a time. Assuming you don't like spend sky stones on it, or you don't spend like any other ways to get more. Basically, you can regen up to 5, and it's 1 for every hour. But if you win against 5 enemy units in a row, you get 1 extra. So, if you have a good team, you can definitely get some more battles in. But that's basically the PvP system. There's also another tab where you can fight like NPC units, which also give you additional sky stones. Now, at the end of the week, I believe it's the end of the week. It might just be the end of the season or whatever. You get a set of sky stones and a set of like one of the gacha currencies, absolutely for free. So it's a good source for sky stones. So at least do like a couple battles. Yeah, I would say use as many battles as you can, but if you don't have time to use them, try to do enough battles to basically get that reward, so we can get some fresh sky stones every week. Now you'll probably notice in the early game that you can't repeat auto battles, or you can't repeat auto battles. You can't just like auto battle a stage. I mean, you can like you can kind of set them up to where your units do their own thing, even in PvP, but you can't like repeat the stage until you get pets. Now, I remember when I wrote an angry review because I couldn't just repeat the stage until I ran across pets, and then I had to go and update my stuff like immediately after. It was funny. But the pet system basically, can give you like a few little buffs, for rewards or whatever. They can also give you rewards like every now and then on the front page of the screen or of the game. So pets are very useful. Now, depending on their star level determines how many times you can repeat a battle. If you can get a pet up to like 3 stars, that is perfect because that's basically 15 repeat battles, which does not include the initial battle. So it's actually 16 repeat battles. I've seen one YouTuber that had like 20. And being able to repeat that many battles is a good thing because you can basically just leave your game, go to the store, and get back, and it'd probably still be running for you. Now, you can also set it up to where it would use your refreshes, so your sky stones and what's called a leaf that gives you more energy. So I like that system as well because I don't have to just click the buttons all the time. I don't have to pay attention to the game. I can actually set it up on BlueStacks so I'm not killing my phone. I can set it up on BlueStacks and walk off and do something else. You know, say if you're working at work, right, and your boss allows you to listen to music, right, and you like the battle game music in the game. Guess what? You can set your units up to run through the stage over and over so that we can gather XP. Excellent, right? Um, Now, another thing for pets, you'll notice in the stage that chests appear in the game. It is very, very important to make sure you grab those chests. Okay? Here's the reason why. Sky stones. No matter what time of the year it is, you can always get free sky stones out of those chests. I love the developers of Epic 7 for that. Because you're not stuck in a position where you don't have extra currency. You know, like Yostar, for example. What if they don't ever release another event for Arknights? You don't get any more Regiment Primes, do you? No. See, like Mihoyo has dailies to where you can get more crystals and more Primo Gems, so you always have them. What if they no longer run events in Girls Frontline or in Azur Lane? No more gems? Sorry. But Epic 7, free to play Sky Stones, always available. I like that. I really, really do like that. It's nice. You know, not counting you getting a few extra Sky Stones off of dailies. Right? So they have both systems, you know? Not only that, but pets can also pick up like goddess statue buffs, or you know, like one of them heals your team, and another one gives you like energy orbs or whatever, so that we can cast your ulti with bigger power. You know, along with casting your guardian. Which casting your guardian is kind of like a bigger skill, but you don't get access to him in PvP battles. Now, the thing with this system, though, is you have to actually pay attention to be able to use your ultis. You know, to use, like, your soul power or whatever. But if your team's strong enough, you don't really have to worry about that. Now, the healing statue is a very important one. You remember in Genshin when I complained about the health system and how you can't just use the statue of the 7 to heal all the time? That kind of exists in Epic 7. If your units die, I think depending on their star level, or you know, like their rarity or something, will determine how much time you have to wait. And if they lose too much health, they also have to wait. I believe at the end of every stage, they get like 20% health back or whatever. But you have to use gold to or you know, like your main currency in the game to instantly heal them. But again, you get a lot of coins throughout the game. I mean, I can spend 15 million coins, and like within a week, I'll probably have all that back. But again, you're using these coins all the time, so it's probably not a good idea to heal like that. Now, there are stages that are considered like open world, quote unquote. Now, these stages only cost like 2 energy from what I've gathered, and you can just walk through them because there's like no actual fighting. Guess what you can do with these stages? You can use 2 potions that give you 10% of your health back. So, guess what? You can always play the game. Mahoyo! Not overpowered, is it? No, because you have to stop your grinding. You have to stop what you wanted to do. I don't know what else I'm going to cover next. There's a lot of stuff that I want to cover with Epic 7. So we'll see. Talk to you guys in the next video. Later.